Welcome to the Sunday Painter, the channel about everything painting. I've hand-picked videos from YouTube, from how to paint to making money from your art, with advice from seasoned artists. Check out my channel, click on the video link under the top banner, to see all my educational videos, may save years of struggle. Today we are going to talk about John Henry Twachtman. He was considered an American Impressionist, also belonging to the group of 10 which was suggested by a subscriber. Jane wanted me to make a video on Mr. Twachtman. So we are going to learn about the artist who was known for playing practical jokes on unsuspecting friends. Here is a quote from Twachtman, just imagine how suggestive things are. Kind of vague, but you will understand shortly what he meant. Stay around to the end and hear my thoughts. You can use them to improve your paintings by studying this video. Come and improve your art and expand your knowledge. Become a part of the Best Art channel and leave a happy comment, or let me know if there is an artist you would like to learn about. I also have this cool tee created just for this lesson. Check out this wearable art with other creative designs. The link is in the description below the video. See you on the other side.
The Sunday Painter. Please click and subscribe, hit the like button, and don't forget the little bell so you will be the first when we have an inspirational idea.
When we think of Impressionism, we think of Monet or other European artists, but America had Impressionists too. Today we are going to learn about one. John Henry Twachtman, 1853 to 1902, was best known for his Impressionist landscapes, though his painting style varied widely through his career. Twachtman was born in Cincinnati, Ohio, not far from where I live, and received his first art training under Frank Duveneck, an American figure and portrait painter. As with most artists of the time, he traveled to Europe to further his education. He studied at the Academy of Fine Arts in Munich from 1875 to 1877, spending time with Duveneck and William Merritt Chase. He did not care for the Munich training, but was deeply impressed by the painting of Whistler and the Impressionists, and encouraged by Theodore Robinson and Childe Hassam, he moved toward a lighter palette and a more abstract simplification of forms. His landscapes became very loose and simplified. From 1883 to 1885 he studied in Paris, and his paintings dramatically shifted towards a soft, gray and green tonalist style. We do have to understand what Totalism is. This is an artistic style that emerged in the 1880s when American artists began to paint landscape forms with an overall tone of colored atmosphere or mist. Between 1880 and 1915, dark, neutral hues such as gray, brown or blue, often dominated compositions by artists associated with the style. During the late 1890s, American art critics began to use the term tonal to describe these works. Two of the leading associated painters were George Inness and James McNeill Whistler. Tonalism is sometimes used to describe American landscapes derived from the French Barbizon style, which emphasized mood and shadow. Tonalism was eventually eclipsed by Impressionism and European modernism. In 1886, he returned to America and settled in Connecticut, eventually buying a farm in Greenwich. He often painted and exhibited with fellow artist Julian Alden Weir, who was also an American Impressionist. They were a part of an art colony in Cascab. They were the founder of the 10. What are the 10? The 10 was an artists' group formed in 1898 to exhibit their work as a unified group. John Henry Twachtman, J. Alden Weir, and Childe Hassam were the driving forces behind the organization. Dissatisfied with the conservatism of the American art establishment, the three artists recruited 7 others from Boston, New York City, and elsewhere on the East Coast, with the intention of creating an exhibition society that valued their view of originality and imagination. Unanimous approval was required to admit a new member to the society. It was also decided that there would never be less than 10 members active for the group to remain as one. For 20 years the 10 exhibited in New York, Boston, Philadelphia, and other American cities. After this dissolved due to death in its ranks and lack of public interest. After Twachtman died in 1902, William Merritt Chase joined in his place. In addition to his oil paintings, Twachtman continued to create etchings as well as drawings in pastel. He taught painting at the Art Students League from 1889 until his death. In Connecticut, Twachtman painted many landscapes of his farm and garden in Greenwich, and his painting style shifted, this time to a highly personal impressionist technique often depicting the snow-covered landscape. He executed dozens of paintings of a small waterfall on his property, capturing the scene in different seasons and times of day. He preferred to paint close-ups, bits as he called them, rather than broad panoramic views. With high or no horizons, these were often painted on square canvases, which stabilized the image by minimizing dynamic movement in any direction. A strong sense of design and feel for abstraction gave solid structure to his brushwork, becoming more impressionist and better attuned to the atmospheric effect he desired. He loved the winter and that feeling of quiet, and all nature is hushed to silence. Reduced to essentials, enabling him to evoke the poetic, mystical mood of nature. Believe this or not, his works did not appeal to many and proved elusive to the public, and the paintings did not sell, becoming depressed and discouraged. He worked in oil pastels on brown paper, which allowed for him to use a very constricted palette of white, greens, blues, and grays, because in places where there was a lack of color, the brown paper shows through, adding another dimension. He painted all the time and said, "Yesterday I painted all day looking from a window at the blizzard. It was beautiful and I could not stop painting and painted until it was too dark to see and I was tired out." He combined the techniques of Impressionism and Totalism to create landscapes that were noted for their muted earth tones and their ability to convey the emotion and beauty of nature. Indeed, a poet of the brush, and produced a series of vibrant scenes that anticipated a more modernist style, had yet to gain prominence in American art. Twachtman died suddenly in Gloucester of a brain aneurysm, aged 49. Today, his works are in many museum collections. Here are some of my thoughts on his work. For me, his work seems light and dusty. Nothing having a hard edge with a cotton ball feel. It's like adding imagination to the reality that is there. Color over color, like looking through the top layer of the painting to the first few strokes. Now, how can you apply this to your work? I found that people only paint when they have something special or a big idea. If you think about Twachtman, he painted what he's seen out his window and the simple things around where he lived. What do you see out your window? You don't have to go to some exotic place and paint what you think people may like, but paint your life. It may be a simple bird bath in the backyard or flowers you just planted. Capture a feeling. Paint every week, and share your world with people. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I would love to hear them. As with everything, there is much more to Twachtman, and hopes this sparks your interest to study or copy some of his beautiful moving works. Don't forget to check out the link for the art tee design in the description and the many other videos I have on the Sunday Painter. This helps me make more content lessons to learn from. Paint on, my friends.